And I'm a man of integrity, right? If I have sex with a woman, she gets pregnant, I have to be there. And that's the position I took. But with her saying, I don't think I want to and I'm not ready, I'm not in a position to force her.
A man and a woman have consensual sex. The woman becomes pregnant. The mother wants an abortion. The father wants to keep it. Does the father have any rights?
I've been in the situation, and I've been in the situation where I didn't necessarily want to have it, but I was prepared to take the responsibility. And it was a decision that obviously I had to submit to her. If she didn't want to, then, I would support her. And, feeling helpless in that situation, I think is also why I'm somewhat in the middle. I don't want to say I'm in the middle, but why I have compassion for both sides. And to feel like now I'm just a nobody, it kind of hurts. It's like I have a little say so here too, and we decided to make this act together, and I feel like it should be a little bit more of a conversation.
I'm so sorry that you went through that, but you said you felt helpless.
Right. I mean, and it's because at the end of the day, I couldn't force her to do anything. So I was on the fence. I was in the position of knowing my responsibility, and I'm a man of integrity, right? If I have sex with a woman, she gets pregnant, I have to be there. And that's the position I took. But with her saying, I don't think I want to and I'm not ready, I'm not in a position to force her. Because I also feel like, yeah, you're right, we're not ready.
What if she were to come back and ask you how you felt, how you truly felt, and you told her, and she said, if I had known that, I wouldn't have done it.
No, I definitely told her. Like, I spoke my part. But I spoke it in the way I'm speaking it now. And I think we can handle it, but I'm not going to force you to do anything. I think we can get through it. But again, I'm just as fine knowing we're not okay, because my life would have changed as well. So it was almost like, even looking at it now, I look at it in the sense of, I've prayed about it, I've thought about it, but it doesn't really affect my life. But I just feel like...
It does. You have a child in heaven.
Emotionally, it doesn't. But yes, however you want to describe it, you may be right. But emotionally, I feel like, it was a choice I had to make. And
you didn't have one, though.
Right, but again, that's why I give it pro-choice, in the sense of, I wouldn't want to force that woman to have a child, because her emotions are going to be in my child, our relationship is going to be funny, and it's just, I didn't want to have that turmoil.
All right, guys, if the unborn has the ability to experience pain or viability outside the womb, does that change the moral conditions of an abortion?
No, absolutely not. Life begins at conception. That is a child, that is a baby, that is a human being. It doesn't matter whether or not it feels pain. It doesn't matter whether or not it's viable inside or out. All of that is completely irrelevant.
Because in an abortion, a life is always taken, at least one, and sometime in certain situation two, which is also the mother.
Well, because I also think if we say it's okay to take a life when they can't feel pain, then how do we speak into people who've had leprosy, or I think it's also called Hansen's disease? They can't feel pain, and so therefore is it okay to take their life?
I think, honestly, at conception, I think it's a life. And I don't think it would change if I knew where the pain starts. But again, from what I've been told or how I've been educated, they don't feel something until a certain amount of time. I think that's 6 weeks. Maybe you guys know when is the time.
I've seen a couple studies, 8 weeks.
8 weeks. So
but
I've heard that, and I guess that's what I would stick to. And if it's before that, I think, I think it's their choice.
You believe life begins at conception,
Right.
but you still are firm that having a choice is more important than that life.
Right. Well, I think of the life of the child, and I think of the life that child is going to have. Yeah, because you guys are just thinking living, and I've lived and been around places that are not fun, that are not happy, that are not living. I've seen people tormented. I've seen people just because of their own parents, just because their mom is mad because their life is being interrupted. And, and again, I don't know, they could live a beautiful life.
Exactly, so how do you know?
Because I've seen a lot of it. I've seen families that are people who are not responsible enough to deal with their child,
so just
or they're
because
mad
we've
at their
seen
child.
the evil in this world,
Yes.
then how about we just don't have any life exist?
That's not the point.
That's not the same.
I was adopted.
And there were kids
And
that
I had a sense of identity that I didn't know myself growing up. I had to go through so much intensive therapy growing up, not being able to know, part of me. I can't say whether or not maybe life would have been different for whoever, I'm just saying, like, as he was saying, you're thinking of just life. But so many kids, you're saying adoption. Okay, what happens when the person decides last second, I don't want to go through with this, and now the kid is in foster care, and they don't get a family. Now they're getting raped or they're getting abused. I have siblings who had to go through the foster care system, and it will mess with them so much. So yeah, at that point, you would rather have been aborted. You can't comprehend what life is. So you would rather go through that than being tortured every day from
And you're just
a
in
child.
survival mode.
So are you speaking for everybody who has?
I'm not speaking for everyone.
Right.
The same way you guys can't speak for everyone, whether or
Right,
not.
it's going to be beautiful, and it's
Life is
both
supposed to be
things
struggling.
Both
We're not
things
saying it's
can
all
be
going to
true.
be beautiful
Yeah.
rainbows and sunshine. No way.